Susan B. Anthony.
Oh, there you go.
Could not believe it.
Oh my gosh.
It's a great segue into Trump.
Yes.
Trump did. It was a major letdown. You guys maybe saw this. He announced last night he was going to pardon someone very important. I was so excited. I'm like texting my friends like, it's not going to be Snowden. It's not going to be Flynn. Is it Julian Assange? Is he going to pardon? Is it WikiLeaks? My friends who are big fans of WikiLeaks are like, this is huge. I can't believe Trump would pull this off. And then he announces it's
so
posthumously pardoning Susan B. Anthony.
By the time I was asking him about it, I was like, who do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be Assange? And he's like, it's going to be someone that I don't care about.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I was like, I'm too familiar with politics.
I was so excited.
So anyway, the point is, Susan B. Anthony was epic. She famously defied the law to vote and got arrested for it, and that's why we honor Susan B. Anthony with her face on a silver dollar, on American dollar coin. And Trump did some boring presidential, typical nonsense. I am gonna, today marks the 100th anniversary of the 19th, so we're pardoning Susan B. Anthony, and that was it. And yet the media disparaged her. Then I shouldn't say disparage, I said denigrate. Unfairly criticized, saying, well, she was racist and she was, opposed to abortion and therefore, and now all these leftists are coming out actually dragging Susan B. Anthony. And I started laughing when I saw these stories. At first I was mad. And then I was laughing.
At first you were mad because it wasn't someone worthwhile, like someone that's alive that could enjoy the pardon now.
And do good work.
Rest in power, Susan B. Anthony.
Right.
But then you started laughing. See, this is the thing about him is, I don't get this. They simultaneously call him a troll, but then they always take the bait. So do they not know what troll means?
I guess not.
The media loves it. Yeah. I think they want Trump to win passively. Because they're worried about their ratings if he loses.
That's one of my theories as well. As soon as they picked Joe Biden, I was thinking there's no way they can put him in the debates. They just can't, not in the state he's in. And I say that with sympathy for him because watching him, it makes me feel sad that he's running and that no one has told him maybe take some time. But anyway, I was thinking, wow, maybe they don't want to win because they're picking him. Why would they do that unless they want to wait and build up? Because it's good for them to have this anti-Trump anger and this fake resistance, and they're not resisting anything. The status quo.
They're the establishment.
What do you resist? You are the establishment. Yeah, exactly.
You're the cookie companies and the soda companies and the major broadcasters. You're not. You are
the resistance. Brought to you by McDonald's.
Yes.
Yes. Right.
Seriously, literally.
If there is some kind of weird conspiracy where the Democrats are purposefully trying to lose and they're helping Trump and they're all in on it, I just hope it involves aliens.
Right.
It's like it's going to try to be something dumb. Like some guy was like, "Hey, we make good money off Trump. Let's just throw in the towel and get paid." Or the Democrats realize they can't win, so they set up some dummy candidates doomed to fail. It's just boring politics. But it'd be really great if it was actually some secret conspiracy. We all got to wear our masks and clean our hands so that when the aliens come, we don't get them sick. That would be fun.
There's going to be a good build up for something. Hey, so aliens apparently is not on the list of things that YouTube doesn't want us to talk about.
That's right.
No, they love it.
Okay.
We're allowed to talk about aliens all day.
And we should.
Okay, good.
So one thing that was really shocking to me today was Trump bought the most expensive ad space on the internet, the YouTube banner. And it arguably is or isn't, but for the most part, most people say it is the most expensive ad buy you could possibly make. Trump did a 7-figure ad buy.
Wow.
And the New York Times reported he was able to do this during the DNC because the Democrats didn't buy the ads. And what? Why?
Couple that with the embarrassing videos you talked about at the beginning. And again, I don't know if they are really running.
I don't think they are.
Can I throw something in here?
Yeah.
Because I pulled up the DNC live stream, PBS, with 2 million viewers. You want to know how many viewers they have right now? They have 8,142 viewers.
Well,
I know it's just the one. I know, but it's ridiculous.
The actual DNC YouTube right now has 56,000 people watching.
Okay, that's good. That's great. I'm proud of them.
Good for them.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. We've got 46.
Yeah, I mean,
wow. We're just a couple people hanging out, complaining about the Democrats.
Yeah,
so
it's way more fun.
We're competing with the DNC. We're competing with all the other people making fun of the DNC.
We're laughing a lot more.
In my opinion, there are way more people who have walked away, left the left, and are mocking the Democrats for their unhinged, unprincipled, sporadic positions. I mean, like, I don't even know. I don't know what they're doing.
I just want some authentic people to. I don't know what's going to happen if Trump wins. I kind of think so. After 2016, they didn't learn the lesson. Like I started trying to figure out why he won because I wanted to make sure he didn't win again. So I figured I should learn and understand why he won. And
it red pilled you.
It totally red pilled me. But it also, I lost a lot of friends who basically said, it was racism and sexism, period. Oh, man. And just the fact that you're sharing these kinds of articles and sources and things that you're looking into, it proves that, basically your privilege allows you to blah, 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 blah. But they didn't learn their lesson. And so they've doubled down on social justice ideology. And like you said, maybe some of it's just they're pandering to whatever they think will help them win. And maybe they think it's the wokeism will help them win. But what happens next? Do they learn if they lose again?
There's a Gallup poll showing that up to 2018, the progressives have basically dominated the party, like about 46%. In the past 2 years, I'd imagine it's even grown further than that. There is a downward trend within the Democratic Party of moderates and conservatives and an upward trend of liberal. So I think what they mean by liberal is
they probably,
they've taken over. And so you end up with Joe Biden and Kamala Harris desperately trying to pander to this younger, more progressive and further left on multiple issues, but they still need the independents. In the internet, in my opinion, the social media censorship and bias has resulted in an unhinged, chaotic, destructive group of people that don't understand what the world is. I think that they're suffering from some kind of algorithmic derangement disorder. So what happens is, I've talked about it quite a bit. These media companies figured out how to maximize their reach by mashing keywords together. On Facebook, if you interact with a certain kind of content, Facebook feeds you more of it. They want you to stay on the site. So websites like BuzzFeed, Huffington Post quickly started realizing what content worked. They put up a video about police brutality, gets 1 million views. They put up a video about sexism, gets 1 million views. Racism, another 1 million. What do? You combine the three. A black woman was beaten by police. Racist, sexist, police brutality. And now they get 3 million views. So what ends up happening is you have all these mishmashed ideas that make no sense jammed together, constantly being fed through social media. The people who get rewarded on Twitter are the angriest, meanest people who put out the nastiest hot takes. So it's nothing but vitriol and hate. And they build a worldview based on unhinged, paranoid delusions. You take a look at the post office conspiracy theory going around right now. This is algorithmic derangement disorder, in play. People are being fed all of these confirmation bias, nonsensical conspiracies, and Twitter allows it, but they'll ban QAnon people. You can't say learn to code on Twitter, you'll get banned, but you can absolutely post a picture from 2011 of a mailbox in a dumpster and claim it's from today, and Donald Trump personally did it, and it goes viral.
It's amazing.
They believe all of this stuff, and their world is just garbled in nonsense. Like my friend I was telling you about, I see her post. She's like, Trump has deployed unmarked secret police across this country. It never happened. And I'm like, this is, I remember, 15 years ago or something, stumbling upon Alex Jones for the first time and hearing him talking about FEMA camps and all this other stuff. And now Alex Jones is talking about Donald Trump. And for sure, when he went on Rogan, he talked about weird, crazy stuff. But I'm saying they ban him. The left right now, secret police snatching people up never happened. Trump deploying them across the country, stealing mailboxes, a grand conspiracy. None of it's happening. And all of this is unchecked.
Russiagate.
Oh, Russiagate for sure.
It's the biggest.
Yep. And now it's turning into an inverted scandal of Obamagate. One of my favorite stories recently, Rachel Maddow was so obsessed with Russia that she once claimed Russia might turn the electricity off in Fargo in the middle of winter. When the Durham investigation actually gets an indictment, someone's actually about to plead guilty to altering a document to essentially frame people in the Trump administration. She didn't talk about it at all.
No.
She suddenly doesn't care because she is the most prominent conspiracy theorist right now in the country. Yeah. Hands down. So what does she do? She reads excerpts from Michael Cohen's book, hot takes, salacious nonsense about the president.
She's just giving the people who are already plugged into her, and she's giving them what they want, more of what they want. It's like going to your, people are going to get their fix, and she's giving them the drugs they came for, and that's it.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to give you something different. It might shock your system.
To be fair, I think my content's fairly one-sided, obviously. Mm-hmm. So you could criticize me in very similar ways. I rag on the Democrats all the time.
You could do that to me too, yeah. I mean, our podcast is called Unsafe Space. We mostly, for the most part, critique my old belief system. What
I think is a little different, though, is that the network, you're on YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You want to just shout out your channel while we're here?
It's Unsafe Space on YouTube for as long as we last here.
Yeah.
We're also on the other places.
But so think about the network we're on. Setting the algorithmic problems aside, YouTube isn't nearly as bad as Facebook or Twitter. You go on YouTube, and I see people in the comments talking about Jimmy Dore. Jimmy Dore is...
I like Jimmy Dore.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't want to, point the finger at him, but he's a socialist, isn't he? He's a
progressive for sure.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he calls himself socialist or not, but I think that's pretty close to what he believes on economic issues. Yeah. But Jimmy Dore, here's what I like about Jimmy Dore. He's a real progressive.
Right.
He's not a social justice warrior.
Definitely.
Just like dude, I mean, I don't care. You're going to call me right winger or some of you anyway. I don't care. But I'm a liberal. I'm not a social justice warrior. These words mean something. Liberal means something. Progressive means something.
Liberal's right wing now. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. It really is.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, the point was, when you're on YouTube, if you follow Jimmy and you follow me and you follow Crowder and, say, who's another good example, Kyle Kalinske, you're getting a mixed bag.
Yeah.
And I think there's one really interesting thing about the YouTubers is we all kind of agree, whether you're left or right, Russiagate was complete BS.
Yeah.
Except
Jimmy Dore absolutely believes that.
Right, for sure. You can turn on MSNBC, and if that's all you watch, you're sitting in front of the idiot box just eating up, refuse from the bottom of the barrel. You go on YouTube, and the interesting thing about YouTube that all of these hit pieces missed, they tried claiming there's a rabbit hole and stuff, is that if I make a video about immigration and you watch it, and Kyle Kalinske or the Young Turks or Jimmy Dore make a video about immigration, YouTube feeds you content based on the subject matter, not the opinion on the subject matter. So you click, hey, I'm interested in immigration, boom. You might actually end up seeing a progressive's take on immigration, criticizing Trump. You turn on MSNBC, they ignore anything, so you have no opportunity to actually get, counterpoints. Yeah. And then what ends up happening is what we're seeing, the media across the board has pointed to the left and just darted so far. The only thing we're getting is hysteria across the board. They're bringing back Russiagate again. I kid you not. Yeah, it's coming back, baby. They're bringing Russiagate back. They're screaming about the post office. This is not true. Secret police. None of it's true. It's just all unhinged. But if you're on YouTube, you get a mix of progressives, moderates, conservatives. Some of them are, pushing fake news for sure, because we're not perfect people. We get things wrong. But it's the opinions are across the spectrum.
But they're not pushing fake news with the veneer of expertise that the legacy media has. The legacy media pushes fake news. They push conspiracy theory, but they still have this veneer of authority.
Right.
And as if you're listening to something that's unbiased, and it disgusts me. And one of the things that bothers me online is we're living in a day where a lot of people like to engage in genetic fallacy, so if you share a link to an opinion piece or a news piece or something you like, and if they're on the right, they'll say, oh, it's Vox, I'm not going to read that. And if they're on the left, they'll say, oh, it's Breitbart, I'm not going to read that.
Vox
but just read it. I think if you're an adult, you should be able to read anything and discern opinion from the facts of the piece and go find other sources and see what you think about it. It's not going to hurt you if you're an adult to read it.
Right.
But we're living in that place. And one of the differences I see, though, when people play that game is that the places on the left, they don't say what their bias is. So if you go to the About page of Breitbart or even like Daily Wire, they tell you on the About page, conservative leaning, they'll tell you. But if you go to the About page of BuzzFeed, it doesn't say social justice leaning or leftist leaning. They just pretend like they're non-biased, and that disgusts me.
And there's a service I use called NewsGuard. Actually, you can see it. It's this little green check mark that appears in all these articles.
Oh, yeah.
You can see the New York Times has a 100 credibility rating from NewsGuard. NewsGuard will give the Daily Wire a negative score. They get a red exclamation point. because they don't separate opinion from fact, and they have they've published incorrect information before. It's an opinion website. It's a conservative opinion news aggregator. But Media Matters, which is literally a nonprofit designed to smear the right and publishes conspiracy fake news nonsense nonstop, gets a green check mark.
You're kidding.
So I use this service specifically for that reason. Try and come at me and claim my sources are bad when NewsGuard itself is ridiculously biased. Ridiculously. Breitbart had a green check mark for a while, meaning they're certified, they're pretty good, they're credible. They did that video of the doctors giving a press conference.
Yeah.
And now they're in review.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, they're just a news organization that interviewed someone. So when they didn't even do an interview, they filmed a press conference. Yeah. When Anderson Cooper has on the MyPillow guy, and the MyPillow guy is talking about hydroxychloroquine in a positive light, why don't they get put under review?
Under review, yeah.
Because it's biased against the right, specifically. Yeah. You don't got to be left or right or moderate. It doesn't matter what you are. You can see it if you're being reasonable and trying to be fair to the facts. That the whole system is rigged against people who are on the right.
But that requires being, again, to get back to, I guess, philosophy or something, it requires people being vulnerable. And some people, you have to, I'm trying to think of, there's this guy, George Lakoff. He wrote this book, Don't Think of an Elephant. Have you heard of this?
Oh, no, but you made me think of an elephant.
Okay. It's great. So it's a very quick read. I read this after Bush won because Lakoff, he's a linguist, and he was trying to explain to people on the left why people on the right so often disregard facts if it doesn't fit their narrative. Now, it's a very good book. What he missed was that this happens on the left too. It took me a while to see that.
Yeah.
But what he was trying to say was that if you sort of think of your ideology or your narrative, the way you look at the world as a house, right? And then if you give somebody a fact that doesn't fit their house, you're not just asking them to rebuild their window or their door frame or something. Sometimes it would require them to raise their entire house of belief to the ground. That's very hard for people to do. It's much easier to disregard that fact and say, oh, you got it from Breitbart. Goodbye. And not look at it.
Absolutely.
It's hard. You're asking people to, to be very, very emotionally vulnerable and to be contend with losing friends and family and their whole and their sense of identity, who they are. So many people wrap their identity up in politics.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify, and we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.